Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations where we generally look at one or another lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. And, yesterday morning I gave thanks to God for our Alpha course, and today I'm going to give thanks to God for our vestry. A vestry is the elected board of the parish that helps both with the financial decisions of the parish as well as the leadership concerning our mission and ministry. And I just want to give a shout out for how grateful I am to God for the members of this parish who have stepped up to serve on the vestry of this parish. We had our meeting last night. Today's Thursday, and I thought we'd go ahead and continue in Matthew's Gospel. We've been talking about the Passion narrative, and we've talked about Jesus' death upon the cross. And we heard those last words from the centurion after Jesus' death, and he noticed the earthquake, and we heard about the temple veil being rent in two and the graves being opened, and the centurion saying, surely this was the Son of God. So now we pick up right at the end of that narrative with verse number 57 in the 27th chapter. When the even was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea, named Joseph, who also himself was Jesus' disciple. He went to Pilate and begged the body of Jesus, and Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre, and departed. Now there was Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sitting over against the sepulchre. Now the next day, that followed the day of the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees came together unto Pilate, saying, Sir, we remember that the deceiver said while he was yet alive, After 3 days I will rise again. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, He's risen from the dead. So the last error shall be worse than the first. Pilate said unto them, Ye have a watch. Go your way, make it as sure as ye can. So they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing the stone and setting a watch. A watch being, of course, a guard. So here we go. He's dead. The Son of Man, we heard him say at one point in the Gospel that the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his own head. And in fact, this is true with his own burial, right? He doesn't even have a grave of his own. He has to borrow one from Joseph of Arimathea, who begs the body of Jesus and lays him in his tomb. And notice certain things that are pointed out in the Gospel, that it was a clean linen cloth, and that it was a new sepulcher, one that no other body has been interred in. So there could be no confusion about bones that were in the sepulcher. Now, for those who don't know how the burial customs happened at this time, particularly those of rich men like Joseph of Arimathea, was that you hew out a hole in the side of a mountain, like a small cave. The bodies were placed in there, and a stone rolled over it, and we know this also from the story of the raising of Lazarus. The body was laid out on a slab like a table inside of there, and the body would decompose. And once the body had decomposed and all that was left was bones, the bones would be scooped up together and put in what was known as an ossuarium, or a bone box, and the name would be engraved on the side of the bone box of who it belonged to. They'd be set aside in the sepulcher, and then when the next family member or relative passed away, they would then be laid on the same slab. So there's no confusion about other bodies being in the tomb at the time. Joseph of Arimathea gave a fresh tomb, one that had never been used before, so there could be no confusion about there being a body in that tomb already. And interestingly, Caiaphas, the high priest, they actually have the ossuarium of his bones in the museum in Jerusalem, right? So I always find that's really interesting. So here we go. And of course, those who have accused Jesus, who want to do away with Jesus, those who put him up to Pilate to be put to death, now come back to Pilate and they say, he says he's going to rise from the dead. And that could be even worse if they steal the body. And so, Pilate must just be absolutely fed up with all of this religious stuff that he does nothing, no skin in. He's just worried about keeping the peace. He's like, fine, go seal the tomb. You've got a watch. Take some guards with you. And of course, they do that. They know that it's sealed up because they sealed it up. And they know that the one thing that the Roman soldiers are not going to do is let down their guard, because that would be the death penalty for them as well, for disobedience. So, we're setting it up for the reality of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And the Gospels, Matthew's Gospel in particular, helps us to understand to what lengths those who wanted to do away with Jesus were going to. And of course, we know that love is stronger than death, and that in fact, death cannot hold Jesus Christ. Today's Thursday. We have 10:30 Holy Communion. and 5 o'clock evening prayer. And I do hope that you can join us for either one, either here live or you can join us online at youtube.com/St. John's Priest, or at Facebook at St. John's Detroit. And I hope that you have a Thursday that is full of blessings.